All right, Gregory, this is a what, 56?
This is a 56 104.
Okay.
It's a 104 engine. It's not the original block, but it's a 104 engine from that serial range. It has a Moldex crank, a billet crank. It has an aluminum flywheel that's pinned to the crankshaft with 6 ARP bolts. It has a Jaguar clutch and a solid disc Kevlar clutch plate. The radiator has been recored with louvered fins in it, so it's more efficient. It's a closed system with a blanking cap on the radiator and a 10-pound cap on the expansion tank. The correct connecting rods in the engine are, they're not Corello. They are another brand that's equal to Corello, a little less expensive. The pistons are J&E flat top pistons. The engine is about 11.5 to 1 compression ratio.
What do you think the horsepower is?
The horsepower is probably about, conservatively, 170 to 180.
Okay.
The camshaft is a Lunati camshaft, a Lunati grind with a little less than Le Mans grind of Le Mans camshaft available by Dennis Welch. But to compensate for that, I use 1.5 roller rockers in the engine. Mm-hmm. It has a custom oil cooler and a custom oil cooler pickup underneath.
Right, we saw that.
Screened.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It has an AccuSump so that the oil is constantly under pressure going into corners. It has a remote filter. It has an MSD electronic ignition system, a special distributor. The water pump has been changed, the vanes in it, so it does not move the water as fast, so it can run cooler. It does have the original BMC 104 fan blade. It has an alternator, which is a small alternator off of a Denso lift truck. It puts out 38 amps. The cockpit area has an AccuSump. The transmission is a close ratio transmission, and it has just been totally rebuilt.
And just put in, by the way.
And
so
just put in.
And you have the tunnel and everything.
Right. We have the tunnel for it. It has a fire system. It also has the electronics underneath. It has a rev limiter underneath.
Right.
And on the button on the steering wheel is the overdrive button, so you never take your finger off, or it's off the gear shift. It's right there at your fingertips.
And it's been rewired.
It's been totally rewired. Now the rear of the car has a fuel cell, an ATL fuel cell, 8-gallon.
Yep.
It has a Winston Cup pump on it, which is high volume, low pressure pump.
Okay.
It has a fuel filter here. It's dual pickup. It's braced with rear braces in case of rear impact. It also has your fire system in here, which is a 10-pound. It has 2 nozzles going into the engine compartment, one on the driver and one in the trunk compartment.
The only thing I really see with body-wise is you have a little, I mean, it's a race car.
It's a race car.
The paint is respectable. We have a little clear coat yellowing here.
Right.
On the top of that fender.
It was painted back in 1990.
1990.
So it was from 1990.
Yeah, so it was reshot then.
So it's been raced from 1990 all the way. Well, it's been raced before 1990.
Oh, we put the aluminum louvered hood on it. And
Yeah.
That painted.
Yeah, we put an aluminum Le Mans hood on it.
Mm-hmm.
And we had that painted to match the stripe. Now the roll bar in the car is mounted down where the outriggers are, and it also has a shear plate on the upper portion of the chassis. The inside of the cockpit has been painted with lizard skin to keep the heat down. The tunnel has been painted inside and out with lizard skin. The tunnel has
Mike, it has a VSCCA logbook, and what other, does it have another?
Well, it's been VRG raced.
VRG raced, VSCCA.
I've raced with SCCA, SCDA, a number of them, but they don't give you logbooks, so the only logbook is VSCCA.
Okay, and how far does that go back? How far do you know the history of racing?
The logbook goes back into the 80s.
So since the 80s that you know of that it is a race car.
Now, the center tunnel gets this adjustable brake system, brake bias. It has a tilt and clutch system in it, which is a copy of a Winston Cup clutch.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got a bias bar on it.
Mm-hmm.
3 separate cylinders.
Right.
The reservoirs are up top here, and down here in the box, in this covered box, are the 3 cylinders, and that whole box is totally encased to keep the master cylinders from getting hot from the exhaust system, and lizard skin has been applied to the inside and the outside to keep the heat down off of the brake fluid.
It's also everything was moved forward to accommodate the 6'2" height.
Right.
Right, so 6'2" driver, everything's comfortable. I've driven this car, it's beautiful. Runs really nice, very torquey. We fire it up?
Brand new Hoosiers and brand new wheels.
Brand new Hoosier tires, brand new wheels, brand new Pano Sports. Car is titled, registered in New Jersey, so it'll be rallied as well.